Your eyes are pink right now. Not tired, not sore. Pink, like you've been crying in the shallow end. You blink it away. You blame the chlorine. Everyone does. Here's the problem. Chlorine barely touches your eyes at all. What's actually burning them was manufactured 30 seconds ago. In that water. Out of someone's sweat. Maybe yours. Stick around, because this rewrites everything you think a pool is. Let's start with what chlorine actually does. It kills bacteria. It kills algae. It kills viruses. Pools have used it since the early 1900s for exactly that job. And on its own, chlorine is nearly odorless, almost scentless. That's not a myth, that's chemistry. Working out why is most of what we do on the smart side. So, if chlorine doesn't smell and chlorine doesn't sting, why do your eyes look like you lost a fight? Because chlorine doesn't stay chlorine. The instant it touches sweat, urine, dead skin, or sunscreen, it reacts. That reaction cooks up a new compound, chloramine. Chloramine is the actual villain here. It's a weaker disinfectant, which is bad news on its own. But it's also the thing attacking your eyes, your throat, your lungs. That sharp chemical pool smell you've blamed on chlorine for your entire life? That's chloramine, off-gassing directly into your face. Now, here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. If a pool smells strongly of chemicals, that pool is not over-chlorinated, it's under-chlorinated. Or it's packed with people who skipped the shower on their way in. The smell isn't proof of too much chlorine, it's proof of too little. In 2015, the CDC didn't just theorize about this, they tested it. They swabbed pool filters across the country, checking for what swimmers were leaving behind. 58% came back positive for E. coli, bacteria from human feces. Not because pools are secretly disgusting in some cartoon way, but because sweat, skin cells, and trace urine get added constantly by every swimmer all day long, whether they notice or not. And chlorine is in there, fighting all of it, non-stop, getting used up in the process. Here's a number worth keeping. A well-run pool holds chlorine between 1 and 3 parts per million. Chloramines need to stay under half a part per million before your eyes start burning. Do the math. Chlorine can sit 6 times higher than chloramine, and the water is still perfectly fine. It's chloramine creeping upward, not chlorine, that turns a pool from clean to painful. Picture your local pool on a packed July afternoon. 200 kids. Most skip the pre-swim shower. Some skip the bathroom break they clearly needed 5 minutes ago. Every shortcut is more raw material for chloramine. The lifeguard isn't smelling clean water. He's smelling an entire afternoon of unwashed bodies, turned into gas, rising right at nose height. And it gets worse indoors. Chloramines don't dissolve and disappear. They evaporate, hovering just above the surface, exactly where your face is when you swim. Outdoor pools have wind and open sky to clear that gas away. Indoor pools trap it under a low ceiling with nowhere to go. Same chemical, same chlorine level, just zero ventilation. That's the real reason an indoor community pool can sting worse than an oceanside resort pool running triple the chlorine. If it's not chlorine burning your eyes, what actually is? There's one more twist. Chloramine doesn't just irritate. It's heavier than air in enclosed spaces, which is why competitive swimmers, the ones logging hours a day in indoor pools, show higher rates of asthma-like symptoms than almost any other athletes. It's not the exercise. It's the gas they're breathing at the surface thousands of times a season. So, back to you. Eyes pink, blaming the wrong chemical for years. The fix, according to both the CDC and WHO, is almost insultingly simple. Shower before you get in. An actual rinse, not a walkthrough. Fewer additions means less raw material. Less raw material means fewer chloramines. Fewer chloramines means a pool that barely smells like anything at all. Because that's what truly clean water smells like. Nothing. If this changed how you'll walk into a pool next summer, hit like. This is exactly the kind of thing worth knowing before your next pool day, not after. One more thing before you go. Subscribe if you want more of these. The hidden mechanics behind stuff you walk past every day without a second thought. So next time someone wrinkles their nose and says a pool really smells like chlorine, you'll know better. That smell was never chlorine. It's a receipt. Proof of everyone who swam there before you. And everything chlorine had to burn through just to keep that water from turning into something worse.